Okay, well, by the official town watch, it's 7:30. Call the meeting to order. I didn't put on there to call the roll, but everybody's here except for Brad and Matt. The rest are here.
Okay.
All right. Vote to accept workers' compensation coverage. For what we were talking about, it's only pennies or something difference.
Yes, so if you recall the email that I sent out and I failed to print out copies, I apologize. It probably made it a little easier. To cover unpaid board members, the prorated cost for the remainder of 2016 is $501. If you exclude the unpaid board members, the prorated cost is $484. However, that is likely not an option because in order to exclude unpaid board members, we have to have signed waivers from each board member and it has to be turned into the state 45 days prior to beginning coverage. So it's kind of a moot point. And it's a difference of $17.
Okay.
So for all that, they probably wouldn't have even accepted it. So with that in mind, oh, and you know what, actually, I just realized I put the wrong number in the resolution. You can fix that. Anyway, it's $501.
And I notice I've got the vote to approve the
Right.
resolution.
Well,
Be-
we have to.
Because Sarah sent me an email and I just copied it and made that the agenda and I was just copying and typing. That's all I was doing. So, okay, vote to accept workers' compensation coverage. I need a motion and a second.
Make a motion that we vote to accept the workers' compensation coverage.
Okay, got a motion, do I have a second? Second from Chris. Okay, I don't think we need to talk about this. All in favor of accepting the workers' compensation coverage, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
There's one down.
One down.
Okay.
Good job, everybody.
Vote to approve resolution to appropriate sums of money for portable toilet rental. This was kind of my fault. I didn't think it would be that much, but I figured it was something that we had to have. And
Yep.
when I look at how much that they got used, I wonder where did all that have gone?
Just for the record, our public toilet committee, they had requested some more specific numbers as far as how much use those porta potties got.
Yeah,
And they hold 50 gallons.
yeah,
And Jen at Gunnison Construction and Septic said that they were either full or over full every time that they emptied them. So we're looking at a minimum of 1,900 gallons of sewage.
That's
that
too
I don't
much
know where it went
information.
from. Well, just so you know, it was
I
money
know.
well spent.
there was,
It
yeah,
will be money well spent.
Yeah, right.
well, you know,
That's just waste, it's not like a toilet where you're flushing a
yeah,
gallon of water.
but,
down.
yeah, that
Exactly.
was,
Exactly, that's just straight
Uh,
waste. Good point.
so anyway, it was, it's $2,500 is what we have to move over to pay for it. So I need a motion and a second to approve the resolution for the portable toilets.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 9, series 2016.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, got a second from Corey. All in favor of approving the resolution to appropriate sums of money for the portable toilets, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Vote to approve resolution to appropriate sums of money for water testing. Once again, this was another one that I did, but it looked like we had to find out what we had to do. Did we have a problem? And the only way to find out was do some testing. So that's what I did. So need a motion and a second to approve this.
I'll make a motion to accept resolution number 10, series 2016.
Okay, I have.
I'll
a mo-
second.
Okay, I have a second. Okay, all in favor?
Well, I have some discussion on this one.
Sure.
I know that we don't have a procedure yet to handle complaints such as the complaint about the E. coli, but in future, This is an example of something that the town of Pitkin could have met together on and come up with a response, an official response. So it'll be exciting in the future for complaints such as this, that we would be able to, instead of, I realize that you felt like you had to test it right then, but we could have met and discussed and officially responded to the worry. You know,
But-
I'm not criticizing,
Yeah,
I'm just
oh, no.
saying in future, it'll be
Okay.
good.
Yes,
This is a perfect example of something where we can, as a united front, address the public's concerns.
right, but I
Without
still think
knee-jerk.
that in order to have a meeting and talk about it, you'd have to have some numbers. So,
Well-
so anyway. Yes,
So what I remember is the previous meeting, the previous town board meeting, one of the things we discussed was the budget and about not spending money that we hadn't appropriated. And I kind of feel that, you know, if we're representing our constituents, we need to consider their concerns in all budget matters. And I regret that you felt that you were pressured into doing something. I don't think that was right. I think the whole approach to this has been wrong. And I'll leave it at that.
okay. I'll accept that. Is everybody good with it? Okay.
I just think, like, this meeting is a good example of how fast we
Yeah, we
can
can
pull
go
together
through this
meetings.
stuff,
So there's no
yeah.
reason in the future that, you know, if something comes up like this, I mean, it's pretty easy, we're all pretty much here 99% of the time, so I'd agree with the comments made.
Okay, well,
And that way it
Yes.
doesn't solely fall on your shoulders, Steve,
well,
that you don't feel.
maybe I jumped the gun, but I felt like I had to because there were,
Yep.
it was pressing. Is there any other comments on that? Okay, all in favor of approving the resolution to approve the resolution to appropriate sums of money for water testing, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, one no. That's okay, we still got a quorum.
Did I just write that?
What's that?
Yeah.
Eddie said no.
Any opposed?
He's opposed.
Pose, that's the word. I was like, do I write that?
That's right.
Does not matter. Sorry.
Sure.
Okay, now, vote to approve the resolution to appropriate sums of money to pay for workers' compensation. Like I said, as we talked about in the earlier item, this is something that we really have to do.
The number on your copy is incorrect. It should say $501.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Which one is this? This is
Number 11,
I'm sorry, you say how much?
501.
Instead
This-
of the 1386?
Yeah, 501 is the prorated amount for the
Okay,
remainder of this year.
so the annual would be 1386.
Right, so that kind of gives us an idea too of what
For
we might
next
be
year to
looking at
budget
next
for.
year. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay,
I make a motion to approve resolution number 11, series 16, to appropriate sums of money to pay for workers' comp.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, wait, any more comments? Okay, all in favor of approving resolution 11, series 2016, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, vote to approve resolution to appropriate sums of money for supplies. Could you illuminate us as
I
far as
can.
supplies?
So, I did send an email giving just a general idea of, primarily, this money has been spent for paperclip, so it's office supplies. Initially, the budget was exceeded because there were some election supplies that were purchased.
Okay.
That, again, they were necessary, but.
And I also noticed that the copy machine is saying low toner.
Okay,
If you looked at it, that's what it
I-
told me.
yeah, well, that could
Yeah.
very well be.
But it'll say that for a while.
So we are at a little over 900 right now, and the initial budget was 350. Yeah, we're at 949.55, so we're 600 over budget, and I know that you had those copies potentially coming up that you wanted to have made.
Yes,
And then we've
Right.
got toner, so I don't know, maybe we should actually change the number a little bit more just to be sure that we can cover everything.
It doesn't, mean we're spending it, just means we're
Right, it just means it's
appropriating.
there. If we
Yeah.
don't spend it, that's better, but then we don't have to have another one of these to move funds around for the end of the year. So,
What she was talking about, the resolution 86 on gray water that we're gonna have to read, it's 40 pages, and I didn't want everybody to run 40 pages on their little home printer, so I was gonna tell Sarah to go to the paper. Yes,
But I told you it was 40, I was wrong, it's 30.
Well, there you go.
30?
30.
We
No,
saved,
it's not.
we
Still-
saved 80 of them.
They will, the paper clip will make copies for like 2 cents a piece.
Nice. Oh,
That's what I've done, so I think that that's worth it. So,
okay, so
Okay.
currently, the request is to move over 750. That would leave us like 150 for the rest of the year. Yes.
I make a motion that we change it to 1,000. To be, if that's too high. But, to amend the town of Picken 2016 budget to appropriate $1,000 for supplies.
I'll second it.
And that's just basically appropriating it. If we don't spend it, we don't spend it.
Right.
right. Okay, that was to raise it to 1,000?
And that's 250 over. We can,
Okay, yeah, well,
Sarah,
then,
what, the original
we
was
can always amend
350?
it.
then we won't
You
have to do this again.
It was, and I'm not sure why, because in 2015, the budget was 350 and the town spent 1,600.
That's what I was wondering. I thought I
So-
remembered.
Yeah, it would have seemed like then the budget might have increased for 2016, but it didn't. It stayed at 350.
So that's,
Another item we should probably.
Yeah,
oh,
that's,
we'll
Yeah, that's-
tackle all of it.
when, budget time comes, there's gonna be some hand wringing and tears. But that's what it'll have to be. Okay, I've got a motion and a second to appropriate $1,000 for supplies. Any other comments?
You said, Steve, you were gonna get some copies made?
Yes,
How many were you planning on?
I've told her to do about, I was gonna figure on about maybe a dozen for us and Jim and Gayla or whatever. We're not gonna make it for the whole town.
Right,
They can just read it online.
I mean, and that's what, I can read it online, so don't make one for me.
Well, you'd be talking 60 cents,
I know, but
and
it's,
I'll gladly fork over 60 cents for you to have a paper
I
copy.
can read it online just as well. But
Okay.
if I want it, I can print it off.
Well, I think we ought to
So-
have some copies, so. Okay, I've got a motion and a second to approve Resolution 12, Series 2016. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Adjourn the meeting at 7:43.